Hello, soul friends. This is Miriam. Welcome back to my channel. Today's pick a card topic is going to be kind of fun. It's going to be all about who is stalking you or who is, and please, since I used the S word, please know that if I ever refer to you as a stalker or if I ever refer to another person as someone who is stalking you, I do not mean literally that they are stalking. I mean it like as a joke, somebody who has a crush on you, somebody who's thinking about you, somebody who's obsessing about you in a non-violent way. Okay, if you ever feel like somebody is obsessing about you in a legit stalking way, please reach out and get help. You know, if likewise, if you're ever legit stalking somebody, you know, don't. So if I ever refer to you or them as a stalker in the video, please take it with a grain of salt. I am just keeping it light and making jokes. Okay. I try to keep light-hearted stuff on this channel as opposed to getting serious because life is serious and sucks enough. So without that further ado, let's go ahead and get into what we're going to be doing today. Remember, no matter your individual beliefs, tarot or oracle reading is your spirit guides coming forward to give you advice, or to simply your subconscious mind helping you answer life's ponders. No matter how you look at that, it is healthy and you are in the right place. So I think the way we're going to do this is the same way we always do. We're going to use animal cards to figure out who all is stalking who. And I'm only doing that disclaimer once, so if you don't watch the intro, then tough. Sit there and deal with your feelings. Okay, keep going here. Woo. I wonder if you saw. Okay, there's 4 of them. If I get the feeling that there's, you know, more than one person fixated on you during our time in your group, I will be sure to make account for that because sometimes people get lots of stalkers. Are you one of those people? Drop down in the comment if you're like, yeah, I do kind of tend to attract people who get really fixated on me for no apparent reason at all. Or maybe there is a big reason, like maybe you're super, you know, hot or, you know, whatever's working for you there, pumpkin. All right, I just have unicorns out right now. I don't have any rocks. Ew, let's use bracelets. Ew. That was so Romeo and Michelle. Group 1, you can be this carnelian bracelet. Ew, in the circles, it's going to look so nice in the thumbnail that I won't use because I'll end up liking the one they pick better. Group 2, you can be this, oh, what is this? This is African bloodstone, I believe is what I was told. Group 3, yours is either Indian agate or a bunch of aventurine and some other stuff. But I swear I had a little Indian agate bracelet like this, but it came with a lot of lighter colored stones. So we'll say Indian agate for now. This is Indian agate for sure. So if that gives you a larger representation, the gems are just a little more polished on this one. They're a little more in rougher shape on this guy here. Okay, and group 4, you can be turquoise. Oh, isn't that so pretty? Okay. All right, let's find out who's watching you, checking on you, stalking you, fantasizing about you. Remember, we use letter tiles now. Super exciting. If you want a breakdown on, you know, my inspiration for using those or whatever, or an explanation on why I use them the way I do, please go check the video entitled, I don't know what, hang on. Ah, yes, how does your crush feel about you? And that also has a link to the other pick a card person that inspired me to, I mean, lots of people use letter tiles, but the way that this particular influencer uses them is pretty sweet. And I keep them in this sweet bag. Okay, So we'll see you in your individual readings, my friends. Pause if you actually need, but I talked for a long time. So bye. Hello, group one. So if you picked the carnelian bracelet, let's go ahead and get into your reading. I'm just going to put them back on as we go. And just see who is stalking you or thinking about you way too much. Keep in mind, this can be somebody that's, I should have said this in the intro, but too late now. Professional, personal, platonic, romantic. Okay. Or a stranger. Oh my. Won't that be fun to decipher? Okay, let's check it out. The fox spirit, think on your feet. Oh man, if I was getting stalked, I wouldn't want it to be somebody with fox energy. They're all sneaky. They might wear glasses. Good to know. Keep in mind I'm wearing my I don't know what the official name of these are. They call it like a Zuni bird. A Zuni bird ring. For protection. Okay. Got a lot of my Southwestern stuff on. Ew. Intuition check in the comments section. I'll have to try to remember to do this with everybody. Because I didn't do it in the intro on top of it. Which ring am I wearing is haunted? Which ring am I wearing is haunted? Let me know in the comments. Just a fun little fun ski thing to do. Okay. Anyway, fox spirit. Okay, so this person I feel like could be very intellectual. I take glasses as symbolism of intellectualism. Whether or not they wear actual glasses, they could just be very intellectual of a person. They could be 27 years old, or that 27 number could mean something or have some significance to you or this person. This person is smug. Like, I feel like I don't want to say I'm already into this reading. It's not like I'm already into like this person being way too into you. I feel like you're not into them. Or if if you are, you're not into certain parts of them enough to where you're kind of denying them a little bit, maybe. So what I'm feeling is this person kind of is kind of smug. I'm seeing a university campus, so there might be somebody that's into academia. You might have met them through that type of channel, even if it's not college campus, it could be another type of academia. Sorry, somebody's got like a lot of guides, or there's a bunch of guides for a bunch of people in here right now. Okay, tell me more about this person. Sparts. The Sparts are speaking to us, child. Chameleon spirit. These cards are haunting me. I've been using this deck for weeks now, and the same cards keep popping out. About to take those little puppies out and give them a chance to take a break, and the other ones can start talking. Here's a different one. Actually, no, I got this in another reading recently. Vulture spirit, nothing is wasted. Okay, so this person's kind of a chameleon. That doesn't surprise me. I feel like they're a people pleaser, but they also are good at manipulating people into pleasing them. So I feel like that nothing is wasted. Like no good deed they do is just out of the goodness of their heart. They kind of do it for appearances, for the sake of appearances, and to get in good with people so that they can kind of like get them later in some way, or leverage that in some way. The leverage doesn't always necessarily have to be sinister, but it is something that they do try to... Sorry, I try to make this like, so you don't see, so you don't see behind the curtain past the table at my nappy footrest that my cat has clawed to pieces. There, I said it, okay? It's right over there. It's right over there. You've seen it before when I roll my table the wrong way. Okay, the fact that I was just lamenting my nappy footstool. I feel like this person notices things like that. They notice things like if you have a thread, like a loose thread. It doesn't even have to be a nappy thread. It could just be like one little thread. I noticed one of those on my dress earlier and I haven't grabbed it yet. That would drive your person crazy that I didn't grab that thread on my dress, and like maybe they nitpick you a little bit in that way, in that same way. Maybe they do that to you. I'm sorry if you hear my bracelets. I'm wearing a lot of bracelets today. Less now for the other groups, as there'll be more and more as we go through each group. Okay, so yeah, nothing's ever wasted. Here's a couple more numbers for them. 14 and 63. Do you see how fast I blended those numbers together in my sick little brain? If you were like rattled off a phone number to me, like it's 555-8484, I'd be like, didn't get that. I might not get that one because it's so repetitive, but nope, I won't get it otherwise. Okay, let's see some more here. Spirit, tell me more about this person. I want to know personality traits, other traits, signifiers of who this person is to group 1. This person could be someone you work with or somebody that you have to collaborate with in some way, somebody that works with you in the community a lot or the vicinity within which you spend a lot of your days. That could be where you work, it could be where you live. Oh, it could be both. If you live in a small town like I do, a lot of people do both. I do both, but I work and live at home, so it's a little easier than when you're out there. I've tried both. Sweet results await. This person might be very popular. And like, I feel like there's aspects of this person that you like, but there's also aspects of this person that, I don't know, it's so calculating. And maybe they don't mean anything bad by it. Like, I don't totally see them totally hatching evil plans, but I automatically feel like, they do think that they're smarter than most people, and maybe they are. Numbers 1 and 7, if I didn't say. But I am getting kind of that, like, and I feel like people overuse the word narcissist now. Please, if I use the word narcissistic, I do not mean full-blown clinical narcissism. Two completely different things. A person can be narcissistic without being a full-blown clinical narcissist with a full-blown diagnosis that must be given by a doctor. Hold that thought. Okay, perfect time. We got the narcissist disclaimer out of the way and the stalker disclaimer out of the way today. So let's just keep moving forward. Like, who am I disclaiming to? Like, who cares? So silly. Okay. Oh, I had it so good and I messed it up. All right. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing, you guys. All right. My bad. Nah. Okay. Enough. Close enough. All right. So, anywho, yeah, narcissistic qualities and just kind of arrogant overall. I've said that before. Let's see if I can get some more interesting energy. Okay, I feel like this card right off the bottom stood out to me. It says, you see clearly now. I feel like that number might be significant to some, that you have sort of seen through a disguise this person shows most people, and that's kind of why they fixate on you, or some of you, is because you see them for who they really are, and so they're kind of like, now I got to keep my eye on you. And so I feel like for some, this person might kind of go out of their way to kind of like that chameleon with that side eye, like looking back, like they're always making sure they know what's going on with you. They're always making sure to keep an eye on you, to rehearse strategy towards you, etc. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so let's look at some different situations. Spirit, before we delve into this type of person that we just described, is there anybody else here in this group that needs to be heard that doesn't fit this person's energy? Okay. We also have, okay, kind of goes along with the same type of deal, like a person that is like this, but they're a spiritual leader, not like somebody you work with. Yeah, like some kind of a guru or spiritual medicine person that you've had to set healthy boundaries, or you feel like you might need to set healthy boundaries with. 35, 36, and 3. Okay. Okay. So what does this person want with my group ones? For some, it's deflection. They want to make sure, like, see this little, like, oh, look at me. I'm so la-ti-da, my little books and my little hand on my heart, and I'm so special. Like, it could be somebody that competes with you academically. It could be somebody that competes with you spiritually. Even if they're supposed to be in charge of you spiritually, they could compete with you nonetheless because you're on a different level than they are group one, and they know it. Yeah, they're trying to keep balance. Ooh, that's a glare. Malanta? Sorry, we'll keep those down there, shall we? For some of you, and this is a very specific message for some, situations. For some of you, this person is, okay, I'm hearing both. This person is somebody that you're in a relationship with. And then for some of you, this person is jealous of a relationship that you are in that's very 10 of Cups, okay? For those of you that are in a relationship with this person, you thought you had a 10 of Cups situation, but there's like this kind of different side to them that you might be kind of like, ugh, what is happening here? Like an arrogant side that you weren't sure that you were signing up for, per se. Okay. And that could have led to like a breakup of sorts, and then this person keeps tabs on you. That's kind of the storyline that I'm getting through that. It's very specific. It might be for like only one person in this group, so I won't harp on it for too long, but that is something that came through. 6 of Swords in reverse. For some of you, this person was somebody that really let you down. Like they were supposed to rescue you and be your anchor, and see how like even if this was upright, we would see that she's still kind of floating above, okay? And that would take on different meanings depending on where this lands, but it's in the reverse. I feel like you feel like your anchor got kind of ripped out because what you thought was staking you to the ground ended up not being true. I'm feeling a lot of like disillusionment with disillusionment. There's my words. Sometimes my mouth don't work right, mama. Disillusionment with somebody that you greatly respected at one time, like a mentor. That's another situation that's coming through. For some of you, that relationship could have been somebody that you looked up to almost like in a mentor category. Maybe they were older than you, etc. and so forth. Or maybe, this is just a separate situation altogether. So just take them as they click, as they go. Okay, other situations. Barts. Knight of Wands. Yeah, this could have been somebody you were very in love with that you thought, could jump over the moon. And now you're kind of like, wait a minute, sir. Some of you heard tea about this person and you kind of delved into a rabbit hole and found out things that might not have been true. Keep in mind, this isn't going to be for everybody. This is just all the different situations to try to get you knowing that you're in the right group. 8 of Cups. Some of you have already walked away from this person, or you're going to, or like you're walking away from a whole movement or a whole job or a whole belief system or a portion of a belief system because of like the true colors that have come through. It might not be that extreme for some, but for others it is. You're leaving. You're walking on. And it's their loss because see how the little ladybug is the one walking on? Ladybugs are lucky. But be careful. Some of them bite. And I've read all kinds of different... When I was a kid, it was like, none of them bite, you're fine. And I would hold them all, and I was like, sure enough, none of them bit me, that's fine. Then I got a little older, and I was like, look, a ladybug. And I was like, ow, it bit me. So then I came up with this my own little old wives' tale that only happens after you grow up. They can bite once you're an adult. And the only people that ever told me they bit were adults, and maybe that was why. And then I read a thing that said that only the yellow and orange ones bite and the red ones are cool. And I was like, huh. But I never fact checked that. So I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comments if you know which ladybugs bite and which ones do not. But regardless, they're all lucky. And if they land on you, they're lucky whether they bite you or not. I think, mythologically speaking, esoterically speaking. And this little ladybug is going on her way, and that is bad luck for everyone else that she is leaving behind, and good for her. So good for you if you're leaving something behind. That glare is kind of there, but we're just going to leave it above those ladies because I feel like if it's away from faces and just over that teapot, we won't care about it as much. Let me know if the glare drove you nuts in the comments section. There we go. Okay. Moving on. Spurt. Why does this person stalk group 2? Or why do they fixate on them so much? 8 of Swords. You make them feel trapped in some way for some of them. Some of you might know what that means. Some of you might not. We might revisit it. We might not. Let's just see what else we get real quick. Queen of Pentacles. You're different from them. And yet you do what they do better, or they worry that you do. So like I am seeing kind of like a jealousy between women, even though this person might be at a elevated status from you, like a boss or a mother-in-law or something along those lines. Like it seems as though you shine as you go. That little ladybug is shining, and that person is feeling like it calls attention to their not so good qualities. And that goes for even if you're in a relationship with this person or we're in a relationship with this person. Couples do compete. I know that, I mean, it's no contest. He always wins, but like I've tried to compete with my man. And I'm sorry that he always won. It's just a fact. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, I boss girled him. Like, nope, he's like usually smarter, stronger, healthier, all the things, you know, probably more successful, you know. And, you know, are there times that makes me want to just burn up inside? Probably, you know. But I figure at least one of us needs to be winning, or we're both in a world of hurt. But you get what I'm saying, right? So, yeah, couples can compete. And they can compete a lot more than I've competed with mine, that's for sure. I'm not much of a competitor with people. Okay. And I don't feel like you guys are in competition with this person. I feel like they see something that you're doing that's essentially, in a nutshell, they see you doing something that's working. It's not quite working for them. And so they're like, hey, I'm going to fixate on this person. And instead of fixating on you in a way that's like, how can I be more like them? They kind of fixate on you in more of like a negative way is what it feels like. So they probably like scour your social media. They probably, and it probably drives them nuts because I feel like your social media is either very private or you just post like nice things that they can't be like, pff. And if they are like at it, it's like a petty thing that they can't really go like snark about with anybody else, because if they did, they'd be like, what, jealous much, you know, or whatever. Or if they're looking for dirt on you, they can't find it, etc. and so forth. Okay, I just want to get a couple more situation cards. Jeez Louise, yeah. Obsess much? This person obsesses with everything that you do that looks good, that they think calls attention to what they do that looks bad, basically. So, Spirit, what should Group 1 do about this person? Like, should they be worried about them? Are they going to affect them in some way other than, you know, what we've already dealt with? Page of Cups. Some of you need to tell a friend. So it might be serious enough that you need to tell somebody in some circles. The Emperor. Remember how there was that stupid Gulliver's Travels? I don't know if it was stupid. I shouldn't have said stupid. But there was like this big guy and all these little guys threw ropes and knocked him down. I say it like that because I never read that one, okay? I'm sorry. And they're like, but you're an English teacher. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. I can't read every piece of literature that exists, Carol. All right, Barbara, I can't. It's not possible. So, and I went to college during a time when they were focusing more on contemporary. And honestly, high school kind of was about the same. So, off my back, Barbara and Carol. But anywho, he's way bigger than them. But like after a while, they take him down because they've got their little system in place. And he's outnumbered kind of deal. Your guys are kind of using that as a warning for some of you. That this person might have minions. And if they do, you know who they are. I'm not trying to create anxiety because I feel like overall you're going to come out on top. Spirit, can we just get to that real quick just to calm some of these people down? I can feel it. Yeah, they're really not going to do much but complain as far as I can tell. What else are they going to do, Spirit? What's the worst that could happen? They can make you feel bad. I feel like they already kind of do that. They might like keep doing well in front of you and you have to watch and that sucks. They're going to keep lying and do what they want to do. Yeah, it's just like they're not going to change is essentially the position that I'm getting. And it's like a stubborn, I'm not changing no matter how much time it takes or how many people I hurt or how many of those I leave dead and bloodied and dying along the way. No, I won't get that dramatic. It's from a movie. Okay. So that's the worst that's going to happen is they're not going to change. So if you're like hoping for like a romantic person that's going to change, you know, maybe not all of them are liars, but like that core of who they are is looking like it's going to stay the same. So that's something to look at. So Spirit, what should they do? Nine of Cups means to go after what you want. What do you want? And if that means making a big change for some of you, that's okay. And a big change doesn't always mean leaving. It can mean like negotiating, etc. and so forth. All right. But in a nutshell, this person watches you a lot and keeps tabs on you, to kind of like protect themselves. I feel like they kind of do this with everybody they know. They keep like what I call evidence files on people. They collect evidence to protect themselves just in case. So they can always have the upper hand on others, okay? And they're doing this to you too, regardless of what that, what do you want to call it? What that ritual looks like to them. Can I please call this drug bag? And I know that that's so degrading and awful to say, but doesn't it look like, I'm blaming my old students. Back when I was a kid in the long, long ago, those knit jackets with the pocket in the front, with the hood and the two little strings up front that were like knitted and they were like, kind of like these colors. Okay, not this fabric, but these colors. We called them Jesus jackets, and then the kids that I taught called them drug rugs, right? I felt like ours was a nicer way to talk about those jackets, but I don't feel like this looks like something Jesus would carry. It does look like something that somebody would pack around their like stash of marijuana goodies in. Like, how do you know about that, Miriam? Because I'm alive and I've been in the world. I know things. So I kind of want to call it the drug bag, and we don't keep drugs in here. We keep letter tiles. Let's just look and see if we can pull out some information, some more like confirmation that you were in the right group all along. I'm trying this new way of sitting to help my posture, guys. It is not going well, so I'm sorry for the table getting kicked so much. Okay. So duplicate the letters if you need. Initials count. If you have everything but one letter, it counts. A first or a last name or a middle name counts. If you see any names or anything that strikes something in your recognition, like a family member or a pet or something, it's just more confirmation that you're in the right place. And if I see things in there like locations and people's names, I will say them out loud as well. I hear Vivian. I hear Nathan. I hear something that's like an unusual name for the area that I'm from. So like an N-I-V and maybe a G name in there that's like not like a typical American name. Go ahead and take it as confirmation. That's for you. I see John, Kai, Caitlin, Morse. Maybe that's a last name or just a unique name. I'm just putting duplicates back. So if you see me take it away, it was already up there and I took it away. Sometimes I might miss a duplicate. And you can tell me in the comments, just be nice about it. Just be nice about it. I'm a nice person. Okay, let's keep going. B. Okay, so far we have F-O-J-A-K, Jack. I hear Flo. L-G-I-N-V, T-M-R-C-B. Bonnie is here. Kirk, Cameron, Pete, Paul, Poison. Somebody might like the group Poison. I hope that's why that popped up for you. I hope so. You're sus already. Okay. Hugh. Some of the numbers that are here, I have 4, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 8, 1, 1, 10, 1, 1, 3, 3, 5, 4, 3, 4. Those are just the numbers down the side. You can put those in any number combination you would like, angel numbers or whatever you want. Okay, I'm just going to kind of focus on these and see what we get. Merrick, Merritt. Monocle, what is that? Like, I know what a monocle is, but that's not a name. A monocle is that little one eye glasses thing that the Peanuts guy wears, and that there's that Mandela effect where we all remember the Monopoly guy wearing that, but now he doesn't have one, and we're like, what? I'm going to say it even though it makes no sense to me. Like, I have this faux Jack up here, and we already said Jack and Flo, but I see Flo Jack. And I'm not sure what Flo Jack means, but it might mean something to somebody. I'm hearing the song Linger by the Cranberries. And now it's going to be stuck in my head, so thank you so much. Somebody might have a flat top. Or your person might have a flat top. Somebody might be in some kind of a core. C-O-R-P. Marine Corps. Other corps that I'm not aware of because I'm not affiliated with military very heavily. My dad was a veteran, but nobody followed in his footsteps. I'm hearing mice. Somebody might have mice right now. You can let me know in the comments. I hate it when that happens. I live out in the country and I live out in a field. So yes, we get mice. I do have 4 cats, so it never lasts long, but it still sucks. Including the reasons why it doesn't last long. Somebody might eat a lot of rice. Ginger. Jackie. Mr. There's like somebody that insists by going by Mr. So-and-so. It doesn't matter what their last name is. There might be more than one. Isn't that fun that those guys are out there in numerous amounts? Actually, it depends on what they do. Like, I remember when I was a teacher, I used to insist on being called Ms. whatever my last name is, because everybody else that was a teacher there did that at the time, and I thought it would look bad if I didn't do it too. And it was a respect thing there at that school. It doesn't necessarily, it depends on the school really, but I wasn't going to be the one person that wasn't called that. I was like, no, that's not going to happen. So I get where they're coming from. It depends on the circumstances, but because this person was so arrogant, let's go ahead and throw them under the bus. Okay. Kevin. Carl. Somebody might like Keanu Reeves or actually have the name Keanu, or your cat's name is Keanu. Isn't there a movie with a cat named Keanu? I never saw it, but I'm kind of wondering if I might have needed to see this movie if it existed. Let me know if it was actually a movie in the comments. I'll never remember to look it up myself. Something about Pharaoh, Phoenix could be where you live. I'm gonna try something real quick and use the internet to our... We're gonna try... just a random places generator and see what we get. Okay. We have, and I'm gonna butcher pronunciation. So I have Alat, India, A-L-O-T, and Palia Kalan, India. Oh dear. Estavayer Leilac, Switzerland. Boston. That one was easier. I'm seeing Mills. It could be like part of the name of a place, or maybe you live in a place called Mills. I'm hearing Harbor, something Harbor. Sorry, I couldn't get the rest. Do you guys know what Eskimo pies are? It's an ice cream that's like on a stick with just like dark chocolate on the outside of it. And back in the day, that's what they named them. Somebody might be from a place where those particular ice cream are famous, or just you're famous for ice cream in some cases. Another thing that popped into my head is an area in Wyoming where this random gas station or like travel plaza sells these big giant cones for ice cream, but the ice cream in it is in a big giant square shape. And I mean, it's huge. It looks like a whole pint, if not more. So almost enough to satisfy me. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. Did I say Janice already? Rico. I just love that name. Maurice, if I didn't say that already. Mo, somebody might go by Mo for short. It's like Morgan. I don't know who else goes by Mo for short. Monty. Tamara. Tara. Somebody might love tacos. Somebody might live in Bermuda, or the place Bermuda is important to you. I'm also seeing Hungary, like Hungary, in Pakistan. I don't know where y'all are at. I'm also seeing some place called Tovar. Tovar, but a guide said this is a place. Miriam, okie dokie. Huh. I'm seeing the name Greg, so we might as well give a shout out to Gregory if he's here. We got a shout out to Gregory a lot in our last video. So that was fun. Not our last one, second to last one. Okay. I'm hearing the word cinco, like a number, or cinco, depending on where you're from. INV is like initials and where somebody works. Oh, there goes my table. And a Q. There might be a Q in where somebody else works as well. Okay. I think we're good. Levi. Oh boy. Ringo. Somebody might like the Beatles, or their name is actually Ringo, or you have a pet named Ringo. Gina. Ooh, lots of ringing in my right ear. Okay. Ooh, it's really ringing. Interesting. So there's somebody's guide just came in really hard and fast. Guide, can you give me a name? Well, we know me. They're like, me. I'm hearing the last name Ogden. I'm hearing the name Jack again. Or Jacqueline. Or the name Lynn. The letter P is standing out to me. This is for that guide that I just heard in my ear really loud. They're like, do not go until you get my message across. So if that guide and the C is standing out to me, if that stands out to you, there, just take that as confirmation that your guide was here. They might have more to say to you, but I'm going to close it out. So you can always get in touch with me and we can do a private reading because I have those available. Thank you for watching. If this is helpful, tell me how in the comment section. Give me topic ideas there as well. And yeah, there's ways to get a hold of me in the description box if you want a reading. If you wanted to know what any of the cards were that we used today, please ask in the comments and I will happily provide the name of the cards that I used. And I'm just trying that instead of showing the boxes. And I might just show the boxes instead. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, thanks guys. We'll see you next time. Bye 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 bye. Hello, group 2. So if you picked this African bloodstone bracelet, bloodstone has definitely a lot to do with protection. Forgot to say anything about what carnelian meant to group 1, but off the top of my mind, I can't think of what that would be anyway. So let me know what carnelian means in the comment section. So I thought we were going to be getting into people that might be crushing on people, and hopefully that's the case, but group 1's was not that case. It was like a weird person that was fixated on them because they were arrogant. So if that rings a bell with you, go ahead and hop on over to group 1. Let's take a look and see what's coming through for you. What's going on with group 2's person? 15, cow spirit. The miracles are endless. I'm going to need more. Excuse me. Tell me more about this person's spirit. Show me things about them. 64, wasp spirit. Sometimes life stings. 40, mouse spirit. Tend to the small things. Okay, there are a couple of things coming through that I'm going to address, and then we're going to draw a lot more animal cards. I'm picking up a mother, like a single mother that maybe somebody was dating. And they're kind of like, I don't know if any of you have ever been around a cow, but I've been around a cow or two, just one really. Just one that was close enough to get to know this cow's personality and like very sweet and docile until she wasn't, right? Okay, so the screen may look a little bit different. I had to change cameras because by cameras, I mean the apps I use. Because it's very dark outside and very stormy. And so I wanted you to be able to see. So as much as possible. So hopefully it looks all right. We'll see how it edits together. Okay, so the first person I saw coming through was definitely like a single mom type who is very gentle and nurturing, especially with children. But with relationships, very, very docile and kind until she's not. And then it's kind of like, look out, tends to the small things like lunches, cleaning, that kind of energy is definitely coming through. What I'm feeling with that person in particular in that storyline is like somebody who met this woman on like a dating site and things didn't quite work out, and she has been keeping tabs on you ever since. In case that card came out at the bottom, in case some more stuff comes up, let's go ahead and start taking notes now. In case there's a whole bunch of storylines that come through, because I'm getting a feeling. I am getting a feeling. Okay. So we have the single mom dating app type situation. It doesn't exactly have to be that, but you dated her and it didn't work out, and now she's kind of come after you, and she's not come after you necessarily in a horrifying sense, but and again, if she does, you call the police, children, but in that sense of kind of not letting go. Okay, who else do we have here? Spirit. There might be me messing with my pendulum quite a bit. You might be able to see it swing onto camera. You might not. Okay, so Spirit. Is this koala spirit the same as that single mother energy that we got before? So this is a different person entirely. Okay, thank you. Different person. So, all right. Sorry, I don't have a camera thing worked out for pendulum. I feel like we could easily flip a coin, but when I flip a coin, it doesn't seem to be as accurate as when I use pendulum. So I use pendulum. Anyway, different person. Okay, so Spirit, tell me more about this person, this koala spirit. Somebody who may be into spiritualism. There was, this card came out in group 1 as well. Slow and steady wins the race. Yeah, somebody who is kind of like a spiritual guide of some sort is kind of keeping tabs on somebody else here in group 2. So I'm going to jot them down. Just keep in mind who you're, if you hear your person or persons, maybe there's somebody here that gets lots of admirers and stalkers. Chameleon spirit, act as if. And parrot spirit, watch your words. Okay, hang on. I'm not sure what's going on with those two. Any more pendulum? Spirit. Are these two different people? The chameleon and the parrot. Okay, two different people, two different situations. Okay, but the koala and the turtle are the same person, correct? Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. Show me more about this chameleon spirit. Who is this person? This act as if and surrender now. I feel like this is, whoever this is, they're very dominating. And I don't know if that means dominating just in general or dominating in the sense that they're very dominating with you, my group 2s. Like, am I on group 2? I had to look down at my bracelets and they're like, yup, we're on group 2. Okay. The parrot spirit. Show me more about parrot spirit. Who is this person? A rebirth is assured. Watch your words. I need another one for this person. That didn't help me very well. Embrace the in-between. So what I'm seeing is somebody who talks a lot. This could be characteristics of any of these people, or it could be a whole different new person. If they were saying one of them is a different new person, so at least it's going to be different for somebody. Sorry, numbers. We have 64, 15, 35, 62, 40, 14, 39, 64 wasp, 15 cow, 40 was the mouse, 35 is the koala, 62 is the turtle, 14 is the chameleon, and 39 is the moth. Then we have 5 bat, 45 parrot, and 26 flamingo. Okay, with this flamingo, I am seeing somebody that just likes to wear, like, I mean, they have flamingos in their yard. They just have that kind of tropical, like, dress kind of situation. I also feel like that's connected to this card as well. I'm feeling like a very flamboyant, talkative, outgoing person that doesn't really see things for what they are very well. So that could be relevant to someone's person. My goodness. What type of person? So I'm just going to say the talkative one, the talkative person that can't see. They talk a big game, but they don't really see the big picture. Okay. Okay, I think that's enough for that. Let's go ahead and see who are these people to you guys. The single mom dating app thing, I think we got a pretty good idea of what that is there. In the case of the single mom thing, it could be that she was also like a girlfriend, right? A friend who is a girl. And that could be like with a male or a female friend as well. And she wants more. You know, I definitely feel like she's the one that feels romantic. And I'm feeling that kind of needy, wants like somebody to help her co-parent her kids, really looks into things very quickly. That kind of energy is coming in for her. So I don't think we need like a who are you to her kind of energy. But for the other ones, I feel like we might. So let me double check with the koala and the turtle spirit. Who are group 2 to this person in a nutshell? I feel like a lot of you were actually seeking out this person on a spiritual level. Like maybe you were seeing like a Chinese healer or like a reader, like somebody like me, or like somebody that works on a platform, or somebody that life coaches, or they have like a plan that you follow and it's a business model or something along those lines. And you've kind of noticed that they pay a lot of attention to you. A lot of attention. Sorry, I was double checking to see what that notification was. I don't think it's anything important. No, it's telling me it's going to put apps to sleep it doesn't use. Sorry for the camera shaking as I checked my screen, because I do just use my phone to do this. Can't you tell by the beautiful quality? Yeah, I feel like you were just trying to use them for what they actually professionally do. And instead of doing that, they've kind of made things personal. For example, this could also extend to mentors that aren't spiritual in the usual guru sense. It could be like somebody from like a church. It could be somebody like from a support group, like you have like a sponsor, right? It could be a mentor, like you're a student teacher and they're like your mentor, right? It could be anything like that. I'm thinking of like Training Day. Anybody see Training Day back in the day? I've really only seen that movie like all the way through once in my whole life, but it's like this rookie getting his first day on the job, and his trainer slash partner ends up just being this complete and total like maniac psycho who's like involved in all kinds of crimes, and it's great. Anyway, he had a rough day. I'm seeing a situation like that. You were just trying to cut out the clutter and do the right thing, and you kind of got this person who's like in charge that you're supposed to be looking up to, but at the same time it's kind of like, yikes, they might be a little bit too interested in me. I don't know if you've split away from this person. Maybe some of you have. Maybe some of you are watching this to wonder if maybe you should, to see how much they are watching you, because they are watching you. We'll see how much each of these guys are watching each of you, probably with some tarot here in a moment. Okay. Let's just make sure I've got these other situations down pat. And then we have the talkative person, talks a big game yet is blind. Oh yeah, and then we have this energy. This feels also like there's some male energy mixed in. So I see some dominant male energy. Like somebody that's like, I like you, and I'm going to tell you I like you, and you better just deal with it. And you're like, yuck, I'm not attracted to you. And they're like, deal with it, babe, you're mine. And you're like, ew. So that's where that like act as if, surrender now. Like you better do your thing. And he's just like, yeah, you better, kind of situation. And also notice too that you have this moth and this little, whatever that thing is, chameleon. Wouldn't that eat that moth if it had a chance? I think it would. So that's also not escaping me. Just saying, JS, yo. 14 and 39. Okay. So we're going to add that person to our list. So we have 4 different scenarios here. We have single mom, dating app type thing. Maybe some of you are still with her, and maybe some of you aren't, but you're realizing that she's pretty, maybe like, you know, sort of demanding, sort of wants you around. And I feel like most of you aren't still together. Maybe some of you are, and you're realizing that maybe that's a bad idea. We have that spiritual guru or mentor energy. Some of you have a mentor that's kind of watching you a little too closely. We have a talkative person that talks a big game yet doesn't see a big picture in some way. And I'm really curious to see what their connection is to you. And then the dominant male feels romantic, but we'll double check. So here we go. Let's start with the dominant male. Who are they to group 2? Yeah, this feels like a romantic connection. Like maybe you went on a date with this person. This is number 11. Like this person is drawn to you because you are like a very, it doesn't have to be a male. Okay. They could just have a very dominating presence. Sort of like, you know, the presence there has a female presence that's also dominating. This just feels more like a male dominating presence. So a female dominating presence, in the sense that I'm used to, is like, and these are broad stereotypes, so just bear with me, is sort of that like more stereotypical to more being needy in the sense of needing you around, needing more support, worrying about your interaction with their children, etc. Dominant male is more like, where are you going, who you've been with, etc. They can mix and match over. And so like if you have this as a male or this as a male, that's okay either way. This one I feel like you're not together with. This one I feel like that you dated and now you're not. This one I feel like you've never dated at all, and this person's just like really going for it. Okay, so never dated at all. Anyone one you did date recently or date briefly? Okay. Either way, they're not behaving in an appropriate manner. Okay, so this one is the one I really want to look at because it just seems like an interesting dynamic or an interesting person. Who are you to them? Turn knowledge into wisdom. Okay, this could be a student to teacher situation. Somebody that like, or like a psych patient type situation, somebody you're mentoring that's a lot younger than you. Somebody that carries along all the risks of that sort of mentorship. And then, so like in this case, you're the mentor sort of, and they're your student or protege, and you're responsible for them, and they're like very unreliable in a lot of ways. Could be because of age, or it could be because of a mental state that they have, or both. Could be like a troubled kid you work with, those types of energies. Okay, so now that we've got that all going, let's go along with each of you. This is turning out very different from group 1 already. What are group 3 and 4 going to be like? All right. So those of you who were seeing the single parents sort of thing. You dated briefly and then you stopped, and this person is like all over you, or like you just dated briefly and they're already all over you. Spirit, what has this person been doing, and what do you suggest that group 2 does about it? 3 of Cups, Page of Wands, and 4 of Swords. Okay. They're actually showing that this person, some of you are going to be like, oh, thank God, that this person is actually constantly keeping other people in their peripheral or on their back burners of like, this person is who I'm going to back up grab if it doesn't work out with so-and-so. And so your guides are saying that if you just kind of keep aloof and don't speak to them, block them, whatever, they will eventually go off to seek someone else. So if you stay quiet and block them, they'll eventually go to somebody else and just forget about you. They're too busy trying to find someone to deal with them that they're not going to waste too much time waiting for you to come back. However, always remember, if somebody's harassing you, that's a whole other thing. Boys and girls, you got to call for help. Okay, so those of you who are dealing with a mentor or a spiritual guru of some kind, somebody who's in charge of you, I want to know what they've been doing. What have they been doing exactly? Yeah, I feel like they've been kind of dominating you in the sense of like what you should feel, what you should do. They might like question your personal information. Like they might ask you like a personal question in a friendly way, but then they lecture you about your answer. Like, well, do you think that that person's right for you because you're hanging out with so and so, and you're like, I didn't ask you if it was. You asked me what I did this weekend. That kind of energy is definitely coming through. So that's the kind of energy that I'm getting. It's like they want you to follow in their footsteps so much that you're never like away from them. And so they also want you to follow in their footsteps so much that you don't ever deviate from the way they would do something. They always want to see you do it the way that they would do it. Fun. Not the best way to teach, in my opinion, but that's just me. So, Spirit, what should they do about it? Okay. They're saying you can pretty much just stay quiet about it because this person is in a place of authority of some sort. They're really putting themselves at a lot of risk by acting that way around you because it's very unprofessional. Now, maybe you're like, this isn't really something that they're held accountable for that. It still doesn't matter. You can document them and they could get in a lot of trouble depending on what they're doing. So staying quiet, breaking away from them. Like, see how these two look like they're conjoined twins, but really this one's just standing behind the other one. Just unlocking yourself from them and walking away and doing your own thing is good advice. You guys are saying that you really don't have to do much of anything other than just stop talking to them. Okay. They might try to keep track of you. You might have to tell some people, like if you were very open about these people and who you hung out with, you might have them contacting people on your friends list, etc. It's always a good idea when you're blocking someone to get a hold of everyone on your list and say, if this person contacts you and gives you some BS about trying to get in touch with me, they've been blocked and that's why they're doing that. So please just look out for me. Do that for yourselves. Okay, the talkative person who talks a big game yet is blind. This like protege or student situation. It could be a child of yours, like your own kid. They really want to be the one in charge. They're very hot-tempered. This does sound like a teenager, even if it's not. They want to be the center of attention at the same time, yet want their independence. Yeah, that feels a lot like somebody's kid. So, Spirit, what should they do with them? What should they do about it? 9 of Cups. What else? 8 of Cups. Yeah. So, and there's books you can look it up if you want. And if you ever want to book a private reading with me and be like, Miriam, I just want to focus more instead of predicting what's going to happen. I want you to tell me about strategies you use to keep children in line. I can help you with that. I was a teacher for 13 years and, was in school for, a few years before that. And one of the things that I was the best at was classroom management, student management, of just like the kids would not only behave for me, they loved me. And it wasn't just because I'm this magnetic, wonderful, magical person. It's because I had strategies of knowing how to do that. And it's all from, in a nutshell, it's from a philosophy called Love and Logic that is actually designed for little tiny kids that came out probably over 20 years ago now. And it was strategies for little kids to get them to behave, but it works for older kids as well. And I worked with older kids, and it really did work with them. And it really helped them in their development. It helps them at any stage of development. But yeah, so anyway, you can look up Love and Logic, or you can book a reading with me, or I just call that like an empath session with me, which is like you're just calling me for advice, basically. And I have packages for that. If you ever want to get a hold of me, just email me, and I have those packages available. We also do empath readings on Everclear, the platform where I work. Okay, so moving on from that. Yeah, it's basically a matter of figuring out how to speak with them, because like you can't overpower them because like they're like a teenager or they're bigger than you or whatever. That's to say though, if you're like worried about their safety or yours, you got to call somebody, right? We got to put that out there. But to me, it feels like somebody being hot-headed. And if they're not a teenager, they kind of have the mentality and the behavior of one. And so I would definitely look into that strategy of dealing with people like that, because you actually kind of get them to do a better behavior in front of you without you having to punish them, which is usually the best way to go. I'm sure there's all kinds of different studies besides Love and Logic. I've just been out of the game for so long, and that was the only philosophy I ever had to use because it worked so well for me. All right, moving on to the dominant male type energy that you've never dated at all, and they're just saying that you belong to them. Wow. Yeah, this person could have even brought up marriage at this point. I feel that for the first group too, of that dating that didn't quite pan out. I feel like they lied to you. I'm sure you're aware of that. Like I'm seeing like somebody boasting that they have more money or more prestige in some way, and then acting like you're a jerk if you don't act impressed by that, Seeing like a lot of swagger, a lot of big talk. But actually really not that much follow through. Okay. They're looking for somebody that they can use emotionally. Somebody that takes up all their emotional abuse, basically, and insecurities, sops up all that emotional insecurities. Very jealous. Would definitely not want you going out dressed like anything, right? And would hate it when you hang out with friends and family, etc. and so forth. What should they do with this person? Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, and 10 of Cups. If you're in a relationship and they're bothering you, you could let your partner know, let HR know, document them, call your local PD and find out exactly what the rules are for somebody and how close they can get before you can file a complaint. All of those things. Just keep saying no. But yeah, getting a posse of people like your family behind you, telling that person to F off in some way. Like if they're posting on, like I wouldn't say like, go have your family bother them on social media. No. But possibly like if they're like hopping onto social media and being like, you want me, or talking vaguely like, you know how women are when they say they want you or don't want you, but they really do. Or, he said this, but I know he really feels that, those kinds of like creepy things. Having like a posse of people to hop on that thread and be like, you've been harassing her and you know it, or he broke up with you months ago, and just because a person doesn't want to keep seeing you after they date you once doesn't mean you can keep doing it. This is also advice for the people that were on that dating app or had that cow energy. Cow spirit energy before wasp and cow spirit. Okay, yeah. That's what I'm getting for that. So let's go ahead and get you some letter tiles for... Actually, I want to get some more cards out and just kind of ask if there's like situations, people type, confirmations that just tell you you're in the right group. Some of your person was self-employed. Some of you, both of you are self-employed. And that might have been how you met. Some of you make your own money and are very successful in making your own money. These are just double confirmation you're in the right place. Across the board, your guides have this message of hope that you're doing the right thing and you're in the right place. I know that people can be hard to deal with, and that listening to what people are, you know, fixated on with you is like kind of creepy. I get it. But it looks like the solutions were good, so that's nice. Some of you might have very, very thick hair, like that gal there. That card's too far away, so it's not for us. It's for me later. Oh, take things slow, relax. Yeah, success is on its way to you. Some of you might wear hats, or your person might wear hats. Or fancy hair updos. Some of you might be cat lovers or work in healthcare, or your person might work in healthcare or be a cat lover, or be a healthcare worker of cats. Some of you might have this haircut, and some of you might really like lilies. Be careful with lilies around cats; they're very toxic to them. Something about this bird is speaking to me. You might have birds that look like that around where you live. Okay, I'm hearing, what am I hearing? I heard Bermuda. I've heard that before today, so maybe there's somebody who lives in Bermuda. What else do we see for like locations, occupations? Someplace sunny. Florida comes to mind, but other tropical places or desert places where the sun shines a lot or for long periods of time out of the year. Some of you might, she looks like she's up in the sky, so some of you might live up in the sky, like you might be pilots or work on airlines in some capacity, or you're up in the air flying a lot to your job. Yeah, some of you might travel for work, or your person does. Uh-oh, I think my earbuds are dying. Okay, we're almost done anyway. Let's go ahead and take them out and put in these other ones. One momento. Okay, we're so close to the end. You're just going to have to deal with me not using earbuds. And if you hear background noise, or if my partner yells out to me, I'm like, dang it. But that's just part of the deal, y'all. Let's get some letter tiles and get some words and some names. Okay, so if you see initials, that counts. One whole name, first or last name or middle name, missing one letter still counts, right? If you're just missing a letter out of any of those names. If you recognize names or words of any sort that stick out to you or that you know, you can count that as confirmation that you're in the right place. And we'll just get going. I see Eric. I see Dirk. Some of you might work near or around a dam. Some of you might work at a sauna. I'm not going to say jealous because I think saunas are actually too hot. Working one, I guess, would be okay as long as I didn't have to clean anything. If I had to clean something, then I'd be like, that's so gross. I don't want to do it. Some of you might clean gross things for a living, and you handle it better than I do. And you're like, come on, buck up. I do this every day. Okay. Desiree. Darla. Winona. Winnie. Wendy. Winifred. Barbara. We yell at you on this channel all the time. Not really. But we use your name in general and yell at it quite a bit. Let's get one more row. Dior, Kirk, Catherine, Cody, Christopher. Arizona. Somebody's from Arizona, Arkansas. Somebody likes Alaska. If you don't live there, you like it there. Sorry, I keep getting duplicate letters. Okay. Tina. True. Something is true. I don't know what that's about. What did I say? Do we see something about saunas and then I see hot tubs? That's funny. Oh, I saw K and I put it back, but I don't think there's a K out there yet. One more, Spirit. Help me out here. Yay. Okay. I hear like Truby. And I think of Truvy from like Still Magnolias, that old play / movie. If you haven't ever seen one or the other, they're great. I'm seeing pins. Somebody might wear a lot of pins, or you want a pin, or your person wears pins or want a pin. Some people might tag you in a lot of like posts, or you notice that they like all of your posts. Duke is here. Jinx is here. Those could be pet names, if not real people names. Drew. BB, somebody, BEBE, might remember that brand from back in the day. I don't know if it's still a deal. Is it still a deal? Nuke, somebody might watch like doom scroll or watch conspiracy stuff like I do. Something about this Jen. Maybe somebody goes by Jen or Jenny, but like with an I. PSA also sounds familiar. Maybe people like look to make sure there aren't certain things in their food, or PSA might stand for something else. We, interesting. Somebody that might just be a reference to them always wanting you to be a we with them. Another name that starts with a DE but that isn't Dior, but I'm not sure. Like Derek. Somebody might live in Derry, Maine, or Derry, another place, wherever, another state where Derry is. If you have a state with a town named Derry, or you might work on a dairy. But I was seeing Derry like DERRY, which I know is a fictional town in Stephen King, but whatever. Okay. So you might like Stephen King fictional horror writing. You might like that. You might like horror stories. Seeing jukebox. Somebody might own a jukebox or work somewhere where there is one, or you might like them, or that might just resonate with you in general in some way. Jennifer. Poe. Somebody might like Edgar Allan Poe, or you might have the last name Poe. I don't know. That rhymed. Some of you might be a poet, or your person might be a poet. Some of you might play the drums. Some of you might play like old Nintendo games. That's very random, very specific. Some of you might partake in smoking of the marijuanas. They're like, that's not how you say it. Okay. This Z is significant. So somebody's name might start with a Z or have a Z in it, and I'm just not picking up the whole name. Or a place. Or a job. I'm seeing the word sin. Somebody could, I don't know, that might just be standing out to you in some way. I'm seeing jinn, like the demonic creatures, jinn. Somebody might like look those up or know about them. Or if you had experience with one, let us know about it in the comments. I'm sure it would be fascinating to find out about. I'm hearing the name Bo. I see Odin, so some of you might have a dog named Odin. You might actually have a kid named Odin, or you just might know about Odin. You might like Odin. Seeing sip. Some of you might like to drink. Some of you might like to draw. Okay, I'm going to stop there. If this is helpful, tell me how in the comment section. Give me topic ideas there as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to do so in the description box. We'll see you next time. Bye, 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 bye. Hello, group 3. So if you picked the Indian agate, I think is what we decided this was, bracelet. We know for sure this is Indian agate, and this looks like a little bit of that, doesn't it? When they're together, but when it's by itself, I get confused and think, maybe that's not what that is. But I do remember I had a big one and a little one in my bracelet drawer. So, yes, I have a whole drawer. Don't judge me. Judge me. It's fine. It's fine. If you want to judge me, it means I have more bracelets than you. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Anyway. Whatever that was. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at who is stalking you. 46. Peacock spirit, let it shine. Okay. Ooh. Okay, I'm seeing a party girl. Like a girl who she goes to the clubs and she dances and she does her hair and she's got the club outfits and she's been doing this for a long time. She might even work in clubs or like do some kind of hospitality work, some kind of deal, but like she might dance. But to me, like it feels like the dancing is more like, recreational and not professional. If she's working there, I feel like it's like kind of less dancing and more like serving or bartending or greeting. I'm pretty much out of the loop when it comes to the outside world where people go to mingle, y'all. So add in whatever awesome, cool stuff is going out in the world that I'm no longer aware of because I've been shut in for so long. But 46. Yeah, I'm seeing this dance girl. And I see like that some of you dated this girl. She's like smoking hot and like, really cute and fun. But she's also very intense and there's been some issues. Like too many calls too soon and then getting mad at you for not texting soon enough. This could be romantic or platonic. I'm feeling mostly romantic for this club girl. Let's see if there's others here for other people or if there's more to this girl. Okay. Oh, and I need to start making my notes. Yes. There's my arm, my pasty arm. Enjoy. Okay. Grab my pencil. All right. So we have the club girl. She doesn't have to be a club girl, but that's just what I'm going to think of her in my head now to keep her straight with everyone else. Let's see who else we have here. Who else do we have here for group 3? Or is it just this one girl? White Raven, trust and magic. Squirrel, believe in yourself, 57 and 66. 21, be peace. They're very two different groups. I'm seeing a quiet shut-in. This could be male or female. And I suppose the club girl could too. Club girl, club guy, doesn't matter. Anytime I assign a gender to somebody, you can always reassign it somehow. If it fits your situation and they fit the spirit animal that they're with, go ahead and take it as confirmation. Okay. Because peacocks that show their big feathers, it's actually funny. I'm wearing a peacock dress today. So I have a few peacock dresses and I laugh every time I wear it because I think it's funny because peacocks that have the feathers that they show are the males. So I'm sort of dressing in bird drag, if you really want to know the half of it. So anyway, it's just funny that a lot of times like women dress up as, sexy peacocks for Halloween or whatever. Ew, am I allowed to say the S word? Oh well, too late now. Oh well. And I always laugh at those too because I'm like, those are male bird feathers. Did you eat someone? But anyway. I digress. So there might have been a message in there for somebody just to give you confirmation that you're in the right place. Anytime I go off on a little ramble like that, there can be messages in there for people if you care to listen, or you can skip. Okay. So with this club person, I'm seeing like this dancer, this hospitality person, this calling too much, getting upset that you don't text enough. That person is the type that like says things like believe in yourself. They do spell work. Some of them may have tried to do spells on you. I don't feel like they worked, and the reason why is I don't feel spell work works on people unless they have your permission. But that's just my own belief. The other belief that I have is that this person lacks confidence. I'm seeing somebody like really talk themselves up, or like if somebody doesn't call them back, I can hear them like talking to their friends being like, it's like, whatever, it's their loss. I'm like the best thing that could have ever happened to them. Like really like romanticizes their own like self-worth. And like, I'm not saying that they're like a worthless person, but they lack confidence. And so they talk themselves up to overcompensate for their lack of confidence. The other one is very quiet. And that's where this dove spirit is coming in. I'm still seeing the believing in themselves and the trusting in magic, but this is somebody that I feel like works and even at work they don't socialize much, and then they go home and they don't socialize at all. And I feel like they've seen you online and they're stalking you online. Yes, I do. So like you haven't met this person. So Spirit, can we give an energy check-in for the people who have this very quiet person, keeping an eye on them? Can we see some cards for them so that they know that they're the ones that are getting that person? I mean, I'm sure you know if you've dated a club person that's calling and texting too much, but this person isn't calling and texting at all. There may have been like a friending or something on a social media, or they may have tried to follow you. You may or may not have accepted that follow request. But if you live in a big city or someplace like that, I feel like this person does like know where you go. So if you put location stuff on your phone, you might want to take it off unless you have to leave it on there. Not to freak you out. I did a deal with the spirits at the beginning that I didn't want any information about anybody that was stalking, like seriously, like that we need to call the police for. But that being said, always be cautious, check your surroundings. So some information for those of you who have this person. I have the electric eel spirit, bring your ideas to life. I have the lizard spirit, dream the world into being. I feel like some of you might have a lizard tattoo, and I feel like some of you might be like a DJ or somebody who frequents at some kind of a club, which is interesting because that's like a different person from the club person that was dating. Maybe you've got both. Maybe you have a club person you dated, and now you have this other quiet person watching you. Popular. It happens. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen. Numbers 38 and 24 are the numbers on these cards. Dream the world into being and bring your ideas to life. Yeah, I feel like you might even own your own place. You did something, you're self-invented in some way, the people that have this person watching them. So you may or may not know a club person, but this is the information so that you know you're in the right place for this person. It feels like you could be in the public eye in some way, even just in the community or online. I mean, who doesn't have a community online presence of some kind, right? These days, these days you can pretty much find anybody. I know one person that's not online at all, and like they're still online. They just use aliases, right? So anyway, but like they don't have their own brand out there, or their own personality or their name out there, and search engines just build them for you. You don't do it, they just build them for you. Quora built one for me. Ever have anybody do that? They just build a profile for you and you're like, what? Some bots just put you together, and next thing you know, people are asking you questions on Quora. Friggin' weird. Well, a lot of followers on there. I didn't do a dang thing. Okay, but anyway, you could have built something and you could have like this little following, right? Kind of like I do on Quora. Where, you know, people see you, you might not necessarily see them. And there's somebody very quiet online that watches you. If you're out and about, they might frequent the same places you frequent. So I don't want you to like worry about looking over your shoulder. Chances are, if you have a pretty public presence, you've got a few of those, maybe some of you. I'm seeing like some of you might be like a newscaster, or like somebody that does a podcast of some sort, like reports news of some degree, and you have like a following, you know, and people talk to you maybe in comments and things like that. You might just be like a, you know, an influencer of some kind, but somebody watches you from their computer a lot. Okay, so those are the two people that we have. We have the quiet shut-in and the club person, the dancer, the hospitality, who's calling and texting way too much, whom you dated briefly. Okay, you might know both of these people in your situation, or it might just be one. So there is, let me ask my pendulum real quick. Spirit, Sparts. You probably won't see the pendulum swinging that much. I got to hold it kind of close to my chest. Otherwise, it doesn't work. I can't figure out a way to do it on camera. And any way you do a pendulum on camera, people are going to be like, oh, you're doing it wrong. So who cares? Sparts. The people who have the club person, are there also people there who have this quiet person watching them? Yes. Okay. Yeah. So some of you do have both for sure. Just so you know. Your one indication would be that you dated one of those people. Okay. So what's their indication that they have both, Spirit, if they both also dated the club person for sure? Porcupine, Spirit, time for beginner mind. Some of you might be, and please don't hold me accountable for this. This is just something that my own intuition picks up on. I associate porcupine with Scorpios just because they can get you with their little stingers or whatever. They have quills, you know, Scorpios have stingers, but scorpions. But there's other things about porcupine that remind me of Scorpio energy. So anyway, 48 is the number. Some of you might have kind of like indigenous background. You might wear like indigenous, like, people for your culture or another culture that you admire, like in your hair, on your face. You might do something spiritual, like publicly, and this is how this person knows you. Some of you own a club or a bar or something along those lines, or you frequent one or you perform in one, and that's how this person knows you. And that can go for anybody with or without that particular thing. But for those of you that it's both the club person and a quiet person, I'm definitely feeling like that you do have like a very public online persona, that you interact a lot with like the patrons of whatever business that you're in, for example, or yeah, you own your own business. And so you do a lot of your own advertising and community involvement. And you might be a little bit older, but you don't have to be. So those are just some hints that you have both of these people kind of in your sights. Ugh. I tried to drink coffee and now I'm like reminding myself why I don't. My stomach's like, no. So I guess we're done with that. Ow. It causes like a sharp pain in my stomach, and that's why I don't drink it, but I love the way it tastes. And every once in a while, if I put enough junk in it, I do okay, but not today. Alrighty. Ooh, first card out already. Just see what it says. 3 of Pentacles. Some of you work. Yeah, this person sees you at work or at your place of work. They think you're very special. For some of you, obviously you've dated this person, so they've approached you. The quiet person, I don't feel, has approached you and talked to you in person, but they talk to you by themselves quite a bit. Eesh. Like, I don't feel like that a lot of the quiet ones are ever going to approach you in any way. I think they're hoping that you're going to discover them, and that's not going to happen. But they do have quite a rich fantasy life about you. It kind of reminds me of like when people call for readings and they ask for things like, there was this guy across the street and we made eye contact and I felt electric. And I want to know what he's thinking about me too. And I like look and I'm not seeing anything because to the other guy, they just randomly caught eye of somebody on the street, and to them it didn't register, but to the other person they felt all this energy from them. And it's not to say that they didn't feel the energy, it's to say they misread it in some way and took it as like some kind of a like a Hollywood, moment. I feel like Hollywood really did us wrong as far as like showing people what to expect when you feel chemistry with another human being romantically. They kind of lead us into believing that if we have any type of electric moment with anybody, that it's because we're like soulmates or we're supposed to be together forever, and it's not usually the case. Like, one person I had that moment with was my soulmate, and the rest were like totally different situations. I still had them. I still have them. And that's an indication to tell you that it doesn't always mean love, is that, you find your soulmate and then you still have those moments with other people. Like, they usually mean something else, and they can mean some crazy stuff. So anyway, let's ask your guides some questions about y'all's. I feel like we got a lot of your situations. Yeah, they're keeping an eye on you, both of them. It's going to be hard. It's hard for me to read for the club person because it reminds me of not somebody that I know, but somebody that I know of who does stuff like that, dates somebody and then gets all crazy for them. And they go to clubs. And so it's like I'm picturing a very specific person in my mind, and that's projecting. And so I'm trying to like get that out of the way. So Spirit, tell me more about this club person. Get my projections out of the way. Tell me who this person is. This person could have very, very dark hair. This person, yeah, they got their head in the clouds. And like, it's like this anchor is like up in the air. It's like they have no anchor. They think they do, because they have the anchor at all, but they don't realize that the anchor isn't rooted down into anything. They're not grounded at all. Like I said, I think this person practices magic to try to get what they want, because people very often do not behave in the way that they would prefer them to. And oftentimes it goes really well with people at first because this person's attractive. And they're fun, they're spunky, they like to dance, they like to go out. They're very like outgoing and fun to talk to. And so it's easy for them to meet people, but it's hard for them to keep people for a long amount of time, because somebody that runs into them inevitably gets put off by their bombarding kind of energy, their possessiveness, calling, like if you, went on a date with them, they might have like texted you as soon as they got home, whereas like most people know it's a good idea to kind of play it cool, unless you like agreed to like text that you're going to make it home. Like, text me that you made it home safe, like that's about as good as it gets. And then text you're safe, had a great time, and that's it, like, but they're like, thanks. And then they start trying to trap you into like a 3-hour long conversation. You're like, no, I don't want to do this. That is what I'm feeling coming from that person. Okay, so anyway, yeah, and I feel like they have no idea how crazy they come off. I don't want to say crazy, but like, so let's say they come off crazy to other people, and they do. Like, it's like I hear their exes and people that they went on dates with saying things like, don't call her or him, they're crazy, right? Like, where was that cute person you were dancing with the other night? Oh, they're crazy. They turned out to be crazy, right? That kind of stuff is coming through. The person that's watching this is like, great. It's They may still be calling you, they may not. Since you're checking on them, I think that maybe they may have stopped calling, and so you're like, okay, maybe it's gonna be okay. Maybe they've moved on. Here's a little helpful tip. This is just something I threw out there to all of my clients. I message it to them. Is the good old fashioned bottle spell where you take the person's name, put it on a white scrap of paper with their name in black ink, and you put their name in a little bottle of salt water, and you seal up that little bottle, and you put that little bottle in the freezer, and nothing bad happens to them. In fact, a lot of times they seem to do quite well. They just kind of forget that they wanted to hang out with you so bad, and they sort of move on and do their own thing finally, and that's preferable, isn't it, guys? So go ahead and give that a try. But definitely, yes, let the cops know if any of these people are actually bothering you. I haven't said this to any of the other groups because it's like, they definitely had their share, but like, this is the first group that I feel like is like that hopeless romantic, and you're definitely not interested, but they totally are. That's, it's been a little more pronounced with this group. So, not that you're in any danger. I made that deal before we did the reading, but I always just like to kind of double check and make sure you're staying safe. Get a little worried over here. They definitely watch your social media. I think they try to show up at the places that you frequent. The club person definitely tries to approach you in some cases. The quiet person does not. So that's what I'm seeing for the club person, is just this like head in the clouds. Very, they try to put spells on you, things like that. That bottle spell will help with, even though I honestly truly believe that, if they have power to put a spell on you, you have power to block it, and you have power to deflect. Okay. For the quiet group, the quiet person might be involved in some type of like justice, law enforcement, but maybe not like the actually having a gun on the hip and running around and chasing bad guys, like something more clerical. Like I'm seeing like a paralegal or like office clerk of some kind, very quiet. Even their job doesn't require them speaking to a lot of people. They handle a lot of like data and that kind of thing. Let's see what else I can see about these people. We have the World, the Knight of Wands, and the Nine of Swords. Yeah, I feel like that quiet person has a lot of anxiety with approaching people, with dating, with everything that has to do with involving human being interaction. That's why they're online so much. They do have a lot of passion for you. Like you're like their dream person. Same thing with the club person. It's like the good thing with the club person is they're going to meet somebody new and they're going to move on. I guarantee you they're going to move on quickly. But then if that falls through really quickly, they might come back to you for a while. So it's just kind of, like a cycle with them. They have to have somebody that they're trying to like jump hoops through, or jump through hoops for, or somebody that's like their object of desire. And sort of the same thing with the quiet person, but the quiet person doesn't have much else to look at because they're so isolated. The club person has lots of people to look at, okay? Both have anxious, jittery kind of behaviors, anxious, jittery personalities, while one is more outgoing, one is more shy and quiet. So there's some more hints there. Okay, what else can I see here? Notice how they're like hugging something when it's like clearly fallen apart. That's like their style, both of them. It's like the person wants nothing to do with them, and that just makes them want them even more. And it's a, where does it come from, Spirit? Don't let me talk for them. Where does this come from? It comes from a lack of communication they had at some point, either with a past partner, with parents, possibly. Definitely, there's a slew of people in this group that have like, mental health issues. I'm not a doctor. Obviously, some of them might be diagnosed, some of them might not. Some of them might be taking meds, some of them might not. I feel like obviously whatever they're doing isn't really helping amend their behavior. It's also not helping them with forming these relationships that they want so badly. And that's, part of the problem. It's like the more they want the relationship, the more it doesn't work out. And the more they want, I'm sorry. This table is like mirroring their feelings like all over the place. Not stable, right? Yeah. Okay. I feel like if I keep going, we're gonna get more and more like that. The person who is quiet, I see this person with light hair. And notice how she's like peeking from around behind the curtain, right? Like, I feel like I did see a flash of a young man, and young to me would be like pretty much anything that's under, 40 at this point. A young man that's like slim of build, short and small, very quiet. He's got like black or very dark brown hair, like Asian or Eastern Asian. And he just kind of sits and like kind of makes people uncomfortable because he doesn't mean to, I don't think, but he like looms. And I think he's just trying to like get into the conversation. Like people might be standing around a water cooler at work, or, for example, and he'll just go and stand in the middle and like loom. And everybody's like, what do you want, right? Like the poor guy just wants to like be in on the talk, right? In on the conversation. But to everybody, it's like this weird, like awkward. And then he doesn't say anything or introduce himself to anybody. He probably knows who everybody is already, and they have no idea who he really is, other than maybe his first name, and that he's like the creepy guy that doesn't socialize properly and freaks everybody out. I am seeing that person in particular. But I'm also seeing like a quiet woman or two in that group as well. Like somebody who's on a lot of dating apps. Probably gets taken advantage of on a lot of dating apps. Anybody that's that socially awkward, I swear, the like creeps out on dating apps that like are specifically there to like con people out of money and that type of like deception. They really, and I feel like some people just go after people for like energy harvesting. I feel like this woman has been like through the ringer with like getting crushes on guys, and they either want nothing to do with them. And I feel like the ones that really broke their heart the most were actually really good, nice, decent guys, but they just were not interested in them. And they saw them at the gym, or they saw them at the place where they work, or they, and it just, and they got fixated on this person and because the person was nice to them, right? I'm seeing one of those types as well. I'm seeing a few females in that category. That's about the only physical like descriptions that I'm getting. I'm sure there's others, but just that idea of like somebody very quiet, painfully shy, painfully socially awkward. You don't even really know what's in their heart or mind because they don't know how to express themselves to people very well, or at all. I'm seeing somebody eating dinner alone and just sort of like, and here's the deal. Eating dinner alone isn't sad unless the person's sad while they're doing it, right? And this person's sad while they're doing it. They're sad when they do everything alone. Like they're hyper fixated on finding a mate. And that goes for the club person as well. They are constantly looking for someone that makes them feel seen, somebody that makes them feel like they're not alone. And it's gotten to a point, and this is what makes me think that they're like a little bit older, like maybe even into their 30s and 40s or even beyond, is because it's reached a level of like desperation that's like sad and like desperate. Sorry. It's a desperate state of desperation. Good words, Miriam. Good job. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay, so Spirit, what should group 3 do? Yeah, look to the future. Keep an eye out for yourself, especially if you know them. Like, document when they call and text. Document the times that you told them not to show up and they showed up, or when they show up at your place of work, just so you have some fodder in case. See that he's keeping an eye out, but the bird is also keeping an eye out. Like, it's just kind of like a good idea looking to the future, communicating yourself clearly to those around you of like, I don't like that person being around me. Because, yeah, I unfortunately for your people that are so into you, I do not feel a single person in this group that's kind of into their person or kind of thinks they're okay if they would just mellow out. Like there's like, please stay away from me, right? I do feel the fear that creates, and I get fearful of people like that as well. I'm kind of a magnet for people like that as well. I have been since elementary school. I always had like that soft spot for the underdog, right? And I kind of was an underdog, but at the same time, like I was okay with being alone. And like if somebody befriended me, I didn't feel like I owned that person or that they owed me something or that they were responsible for my emotional well-being. And that seems to be the difference. And so I ended up getting a lot of like clingy types, right? Obsessive types. It got really uncomfortable. And it carried on all the way up until, I think right now I don't have anybody but that I know of. Oh, yeah. Okay. So anyway, some people are just magnets for that kind of thing. And I feel like this group is, or you are right now, you are to this person. This card is reassuring in the sense that you guys are saying that like the fear is the worst thing that would happen. Like it's going to be okay. It's also showing that this person does have a community out there. They're just not looking in the right spot. They're looking at you. They should be looking out somewhere else. Yeah, don't be afraid of the future, but do trust your instincts. What else should they do? Yeah, tell your family and friends about it. I don't care how mundane or benign the situation seems. Just in case. I'm not saying I see anything escalating, but just in case. I care about y'all. And you shouldn't have to go about your life worrying about somebody just because you have a following or an influencing or you own a business or you dated somebody briefly, right? So keep that in mind as well. I just heard the name Jerry. Yeah, I feel like they're at the end of the scope of harm they can do to you for the most part. It's just annoying. But yeah, things will return to balance, and I feel that you guys will, celebrate this coming to a close. So just keep, there's the sun. Thank you, Spirit. So just keep on, finding your way forward. Put them in the freezer, as we say where I'm from. We go to the freezer with you. And then we chuck somebody's name in our freezer. All right. All right, let's go ahead and do some channeling. I want to get some ideas of, I feel like we got a pretty good idea of like, if we didn't say something specific, we definitely said some specific like types of things you guys do and what they do. So let's just skip straight to these letter tiles, shall we? I just like doing the letter tiles. Hopefully that's not too loud for you. I picked quiet letter tiles and a quiet bag. And I'm wearing earbuds, so that should stifle a lot of the stuff. If you see me taking letters away, I'm just taking away duplicated letters because we only need these ones out there. If you see a person's name, all but one letter still counts. Initials count. Other words and people's names that you recognize that aren't involved still count as confirmation that you're in the right place. And let's just start checking it out. Aslo? I hear the name Aslo. I don't know if that's a person's name or what. Indiana, like a place, or like maybe somebody's into indie, independent music, independent film, or maybe your name's Indy, short for Indiana, like, or you're into Indiana Jones. Victor, Tandra, and Sandra, Tandy, Ruth, Rebecca. Haven't seen Rebecca for a couple of readings. How are you, Rebecca's? Lewis. Okay. Richard. There's like somebody's name. It's like it has like Quanda at the end or like a Quan, like Quan in it. But I'm not sure, and I don't want to rattle off a bunch of like gibberish and sound silly, but somebody's name has like Quan in it, beginning, middle, or the end. Did I say Lucy already? Because I see a Lucy. Fife. Somebody's last name could be Fife or Pfeiffer. Andrew. Oliver. Otis. Remember, pet names can count as well. Not that Otis is a pet name all the time exclusively, but you get the idea. Miranda. I see my name, Miriam. And that can be any way that you spell that sucker. How many of you are out there named Miriam and you all spell it a different way? Okay. Mimi. Mitzi. Martha. Elizabeth. Beth. Kendra. Okay. David. Drew. Fiona. Miles. Mindy. I already said Beth. 2 Beths. Something like Beth, Linda. Taz. T-A-S. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Yem. Sounds like somebody's name or something short that somebody says for somebody. Okay. I'm seeing zoo, like somebody might like to go to the zoo or works at a zoo. Andover. Somebody might be from Andover, wherever that is. I know I'm going to butcher this because I can never get it right, but it's in Canada. It's like, it looks like Quebec, but they say like Quebec. I know they don't quite say it like that either. That's one of the ones where my hearing impairment really comes into play. I'm like, it sounds like I'm saying it right. And they're like, you're not. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. A place that starts with Van, or a last name that starts with Van, like Vander Sleuth, Vanderbeek. Aw, James Vanderbeek. I just thought about him. I'll never get over being sad about James Vanderbeek. R.I.P. Okay. Nikita. Nico. Oh, I got 2 N's. Oh, let me know if that was driving you crazy. I was watching a reader the other day and she had like 3 sets of duplicates and I was like, look at them, Janie. Her name wasn't Janie. I was like, please notice. She did not notice, but she still generated hella names in a really awesome way. I keep getting duplicates. We might be doomed. I'm gonna, oh, an X. Xander. I'm hearing, yeah, I said Trixie already, didn't I? Somebody might like that cereal that was like ball shaped and then fruit shaped and then ball shaped again. That starts with a T and ends with an X, or the one that starts with a K and ends in an X. Does that one still exist? Or did we all realize it was terrible and stop eating it? I mean, they're all terrible. Let me know which is your favorite cereal in the comments, and I'll tell you how bad they are for you. No, I'm just kidding. But they really are. They're in America, they are. They just put so much garbage and everything. And one of those things is cereal, and it bums me out because cereal is something that I like to eat. And I can't now because they put too much garbage in it. Okay. I'm hearing Bindi. Bindi. That might be somebody's like animal or a nickname or maybe somebody's name. Andrew, did I say that already? I said Beth. But I think Bethany is also here. Yasmin. Vix. Like somebody like actually has the name Vix, like V-I-X. There's a chick that has a chick. I'm sorry, I do that, and I apologize if it's offensive to anyone. Her name is, I think she has a channel called Vix Tarot that I watch a lot. Somebody might be into like UFO or conspiracy theory type videos. You might doom scroll. I think doom scroll is actually in this if we duplicate letters. That's funny. Somebody might like to binge TV shows. Tell me your shows you like to binge in the comments. Somebody might play the saxophone. Somebody's name might be Saxton, Braxton. Somebody might work like in taxes. You might be like an accountant, or you might work in a tax office of some kind. I think we had this last video, or the last pile even, Mo. So we might have the name Mo for short. I said Xander already. I said Kendra already. Fifi. Frank. Yemen. Somebody might be from Yemen or travel there. Kentucky. I hear Kentucky. Did I hear Kentucky earlier today? I think I might have. Bethlehem. But for some reason, a school popped into my head. I don't know if there's still schools called Bethlehem, but it might be like a private school. I don't know. Let me know. Something about thunder. Maybe it's just thundering where you are. Maybe you're a storm chaser. Cool. You know, plenty of chasing these days if you come to America. My gosh, we are falling apart. Not laughing because it's funny, trust me. Ding, D-I-N-G, dingo, like the dog. A dingo ate my baby, that one. I'm seeing love, like L-U-V. Somebody might work at one of those Love gas stations or own one. Something about a best friend. You might have just been thinking about your best friend, or I might have said your best friend's name earlier. Emily, Emmy, Emma. Rick. I'm hearing names that also end in Rick. Like, I'm only thinking of a famous person right now, Steve Ulrich or whatever his name is. He has Rick at the end of his name with either a K or an H. It doesn't matter. Dino. So they might be into dinosaurs. Foster. Forrest. Kate. All right, I shall stop. If this was helpful, tell me how in the comment section. Give me topic ideas there as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to do so in the description box. Thank you for being here, you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye-bye-bye. Hi, group 4. So if you picked the turquoise, you might have particularly had protection in mind when it came to this person. So this person might creep you out a little bit more than like the other groups, perhaps. Or you might just get sketched out a little bit by people like that, a little bit easier than the other groups. Don't blame you. I am like that as well. So let's go ahead and get your little unicorns out here to watch over you. And let's see who your person is that is keeping an eye on you. Giraffe, see the big picture. What I think about, number 29, what I think about is, okay, I live in this like, well, I don't live there, but there's this city by where I live. And they have a zoo there, and you might have some messages in group too, because zoo popped up in the letter tiles. But anywho, they had a zoo, and the zoo is also next to a city park, and the giraffes like to look over at the people in the park. And I have no doubt that the people in the park feed those giraffes probably, which they shouldn't, you know, because they might be on a special diet or something. Like, you wouldn't just like feed my cat a treat. Like, you could kill a couple of them, right? You can't just feed me a treat. You could kill me. Same thing with giraffes. You never know. Okay, so anywho, I'm picturing these giraffes like peeking their heads over, you know, and I remember the first time I ever saw it, I was like, yes, you guys, there's a giraffe looking at us right now. But like, they were all from there. Like, you know, that always happens, loser. And I was like, stealers of joy. Thieves of joy. How dare you? I also feel like this person is a thief of your joy. I feel like for some of you, this is a boss, somebody that oversees. They have like this long rubbernecker situation with you where they're always like craning their neck to see your business, even to the point of being unprofessional for some. Yuck. All right, so I've got my little notebook over here next to me with my letter tiles. So I'm going to write down some notes on the people that pop up here, because we might get different people. Or you might be a popular and have 2 or 3 people stalking you. That's always fun. Remember, when I say stalk, I don't mean criminally stalking a person. I just mean it in the sense of somebody focusing in on you or paying attention to you way too much. If you're actually being stalked, that is a crime and you need to report it to your local authorities. Okay. So, an micromanaging boss. For some of you, I feel like this boss is sort of jealous of you and you threaten this boss. I don't think that you want their job or anything. I think that they're threatened by the fact that you are just a type of, you embody the things that they feel that they do not do well. I feel like this person is not confident in their position and they respect you and they kind of depend on you as well, but then at the same time they also like mess you over, throw you under the bus. They might be harder on you in front of other people, but then act kind of like your friend behind closed doors and you don't even like want to be their friend. Ew. I'm seeing a very weak person, which sucks that they're in a place of position of authority because that's not a place for weakness. It never has been, but here we are. Like, I'm feeling like this might be like a smaller location. They might have been short-staffed. The people in charge might know this person personally and they put them in charge. All of that is coming through for the work situation. This could be male or female. I am seeing a female, but that doesn't matter. There could be male or female people doing this in this position. Okay, so we have a boss that watches over you and they might like micromanage you. Like I'm seeing like they let the meaner people go and take their time off without any questions, but you're taking your paid time off and they have questions for you, you know, that because you're actually respectful to them. That kind of thing, like to some of the coworkers, it's like blood in the water and they've really been bullying this person to get what they want. Arguing with this person because they just don't give an S, right? And you actually have been showing respect. And so they prize you in a way, but they're not rewarding you for it. They're actually like, you know, doing the weird thing where like they try to mark you down on evaluations because they think that you'll be an easier person to do that to, as opposed to these other meanertons that intimidate them, etc. and so forth. So I hope you're documenting this boss person. Have an app with a little notepad in it and you just like put the date and the stupid crap they did that day and the time, just enough to trigger detailed memory of the event. And then pretty soon, next thing you know, it'll be like hundreds of things that have happened. And then you can go to HR if you have to. Okay. They're very scattered. I feel like this person doesn't do their job well. I feel like they micromanage yet don't take responsibility or authority when they need to. Gross. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. We have Fox Spirit, Think on Your Feet, number 27. That fox is showing up all the time in my readings. So Fox Spirit has messages for all of us, apparently. We have the Starfish, Open to Infinite Possibilities, number 59. Okay, so what I'm seeing here for some, and this is kind of a different take on what I've been seeing in the other piles, is that a couple of other people have joined our group. They're not as fixated on you as this boss is, but they are shady in the sense that like they see this boss teetering and they're like, how can I exploit this to my advantage? So you have somebody that uses them to make them look better, but they also get what they want out of that boss by being sugary sweet to them, but they're doing it in a way that's like phony and not in the way that you're just being respectful. And that's why they're getting more of an edge than you. This other person is like a master manipulator and they've been there a long time and they've dealt with what's that word? Chinooks? I don't know if that's like Yiddish. To me, it feels like it's spelled Schnooks. Chinooks. I'm gonna look up this word on Google real quick. You cannot make this up. Okay, I do not know Yiddish unless I see it on movies. Like, I know what bupkis means, okay? I know what a Shonora is because I watched The Sopranos, but like, I did not know this one. A schnook. So that was definitely somebody's guide. So if you're ancestor or your great grandma or somebody spoke Yiddish, or you grew up in an area where people spoke Yiddish, that might be your like confirmation that you're in the right pile. A schnook is a Yiddish derived slang term, plural of schnook. So schnooks is plural, referring to a gullible, foolish, or easily manipulated person. Yeah, a schnook. So funny. Okay, to be continued. Sorry about that, and sorry for the camera and my ugly hand. Ah! Look at me go. Okay, sorry about that. I was getting a call, and I knew it wasn't anybody that I had to answer, so I was just trying to make it shut up. So yeah, they know that they can work over. They've had schnooks like this before. That's so funny. Synonyms are idiots, fools, dummies, losers, saps, buffoons, dopes, numbskulls, and chumps. Or if you're German, a Dummkopf, which literally means stupid head, which I love. I think that's so funny that they have a word that in English we have that little dorky little kid name, stupid head, stupid head. I guess it would be more like dumb head, but I like saying that it's stupid head. It cracks me up. Okay. Whew. So maybe some German Yiddish background in this group. That's so funny, you guys. Schnooks. I'm going to start saying that, and my husband's going to laugh and be like, what is that? Because I had to explain to him what bupkis was. I was like, you got bupkis. He was like, what is that? But he loves it when I say it now. He laughs and laughs when I say bupkis. You got bupkis. And now because of power of suggestion, because I said it and we've laughed about it, now he sees it in all the movies, and that's where I learned it. He's like, bupkis. It's so funny. Okay, let me know your connection to Yiddish in the comment section. How fun. So these people are not necessarily spying on you, but because they're so locked in with this boss, they kind of flank them on either side, and they do become like an issue for you. So we have the coworker dynamic as well. What else is going on? Other people might show up, other situations might show up, but if not, we'll just stick to the storyline that we're getting. Brown bear spirit number 9, take time out. Somebody might have ran into such an issue where you got suspended or had to take time off that you didn't want to. Maybe it was paid time off, but it was still a slap in your face. So that might be confirmation you're in the right group. That was a very specific message. 32 hawk spirit, let spirit be your guide. Some of you I feel might have Native American background with that bear and that hawk. Some of you actually might be on like a reservation and you're dealing with your like people here. 26 flamingo spirit. Well, some of your people and then other people from outside that come in and do whatever it is they want to do there. I'm sure that's annoying. Flamingo spirit, embrace the in-between. There's somebody else in this situation that plays both sides. They might wear a lot of pink. They might be very cheerful. I think you know who this person is and you were curious about them. They might be young, so they're trying to stay in good with, I do feel like this is work related or fundraiser related or, organization related, that kind of energy. And I do feel a very strong, like reservation, Native American affairs type element for some of you. Like charity work as well, organizations, like I said. But you've got this person that's like, they're not there for that. And neither are these two, right? Okay. What else is going on, Spirit? And it doesn't have to be one of those things. If the dynamic of the personalities is fitting in any way, or even just some of them, just take it as that's what your messages are and disregard the rest. Dear Spirit, 18, bring a gentle touch. Some of you have like a cute little 18-year-old kid that works there, and they're a good person, and they bring like a nice, youthful, gentle touch to the day, and you appreciate them. They're just like a good, wholesome, nice person, nice kid. 22, Dragonfly Spirit, truth transcends illusion. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of BS flying around, whatever it looks like, in whatever capacity, and you're like just sick of it. So if you're feeling that, you're in the right group there. Sing your own song. And yeah, you kind of do your own thing while this craziness ensues all around you. And you kind of make your allegiances where you can, protect yourself where you can. Definitely be documenting, you guys. My goodness, for workplace situations. My goodness. It could be a family dynamic, but man, it feels mostly work related. Okay, so I feel like that's all we have for storylines is this micromanaging boss, their little cohorts, and then some like kind of in between or neutral types, sort of some situations. So let's go ahead and get some tarot. Ay, ay, ay. So Spirit, why does this boss fixate on group 4 so much? Group 1, group 4 so much? They don't have their ish together, and you kind of seem like you do. And so I feel like you've been there for a while as well, or you're very qualified at what you do there. And so they see, I feel like regardless of what gender this person is, there's aspects of you that they emulate or they want to emulate. So like I wouldn't be surprised if in most of the cases the boss is the same gender as you, or they identify as the same gender as you. They want what you have. They want what you embody. You embody a strength that they themselves do not have, and they can't stand it. You sing your own tune. You march to the tune of your own drum, to the beat of your own drum. You do your own thing, and yet you're successful. And you don't kiss butt. You don't you're not putting on errors. You're not BSing anyone. And yet you still do a good job. And that's hard for them to swallow because they don't know how to behave that way. Yeah, they're being selfish. Like, do not trust anyone. I feel like even the ones that are neutral, because they could be easily manipulated by this type of energy, especially by the cohorts over here. I feel like they already have, you may have already experienced this or seen this in action. And that's like part of why you're watching this is be like, how bad is this going to get? You know, how much do they watch me? That's a good question. How much do they look at how she's watchful? And I just like, she's up on top of the thing. And how much is this boss type person watching group 4? They definitely pay attention to your private life as much as they can. I don't really feel like they're breaking any laws as far as but conduct unbecoming for sure. I think that they do make it their business to know, like, if you have family, if you're dating someone, if they can't figure it out, it bothers them. They pretend that they don't, but see how like their little eyes can still kind of see, and then there's like a little hole up there. Also makes me feel like they kind of spy a bit, or they ask people. The little birdies up there could be their little cohorts that they send out to get dirt or information. I had a boss a long time ago. This is so awful. That pulled in like the office lady, the head office lady, and literally just asked that person about every single person that worked there. Like asked for all the gossip on all of us. She told us all, so that kind of backfired. But like, what a shystery thing to do, and like what a weird way to show everybody like how out of touch you are, to like ask one person's opinion about what everybody's life is and encompass everybody in that one person's opinion. Like that not only is like a really unprofessional thing to do, but it's also a misguided way to get your information, because that person's perspective is going to be different from somebody else's. You know, there's plenty of people that are going to think that person's dumb for having a band in the bar, to this other person thinking like, yeah, they're a teacher and they're in a band in the bar, right? That's pretty versatile and cool, and they can manage a schedule well, right? Like, no. So I am definitely seeing that. They do pick up and collect intel on you where they can. So tightening up your privacy and who you talk to, especially at work, and tightening up your social media is a good idea. We have Ace of Cups, 8 of Pentacles. So far, you just look good to them, though. They might not like it. I mean, can you imagine? You're like in charge of somebody and they're doing a good job and it bothers you because it reflects how you're not doing a good job. So you like make that person's like job a little bit harder or whatever. Like, oh, I hate people so much. I really do. That fact that that bear spirit came out, though, I want you to, let's look at it for a second. If the bear spirit came out, I recently had and I won't tell you the story because it's like personal, but I had a guide experience where I found out it's not a bear, but like it's a bear type looking type entity that is a spirit guide of mine. So whenever a bear shows up in the reading now, I feel like there's like extra protection on the reading. You also picked the turquoise, and I'm sure all of these probably have some protective qualities to them. I don't know all the meanings to all of these. Like I know bloodstone definitely has some protective qualities, but it's more physical protection. Turquoise is like dang a good protection all around. Okay, and I also have my Zuni bird, which reminds me of thunderbirds, which are very protective as well. So take that as you need for your confirmation that your guides are saying that you have extra protection during this time with this person. Because I know that that's like icky stuff, right? Icky stuff. What are their other situations, Spirit? I want a little more information on this boss. They might have a big family. I'm just going to throw out some hints. You may have caught them in lies. They may have cheated on their spouse or have been cheated on. It was a big public thing and everybody knows about it. Sorry if you heard my TV click back on there for a second. They might talk about their parenthood or their personal life at work. Gross as well. I hate people. I hate bosses like that. They might show their anxiety quite a bit. Like they might even like put their anxiety off on you guys. Like, I'm just really stressed. I'm like, we don't care. Like you get paid, double some of our salaries to be stressed, Margaret, right? Their name might be Margaret. No, I'm just kidding. Whenever I say Margaret or Wright or something like that, I'm talking just in general. Hopefully you get my brand of humor. Some don't, and they yell at me in the comments, and it's kind of funny because I feel like my right sense of humor is like obvious, but maybe not. So, whatever. Okay, let's look some more. This person thinks they're being watched more closely than they are. They also worry about the people in charge of them and how they look to them, and that's why they throw people under the bus. Nice. Show me their cohorts. Gossipers, you've probably already pegged these people as gossipers, these two. Even though one of them is very cheerful. Like the one that's shrewd and the one that had that fox energy, that one is like, that one's truthful, but like they're just a go-getter. They don't care. Like they'll tell somebody they're a crappy worker if they want to. They'll tell the boss that they think that what they did was stupid, like. And they strike me as one of those people that when you watch them, you watch the way they behave out in the world, they're very argumentative and like go-getters, and they just say whatever's on their mind, but like yet nothing really bad has ever happened to them for doing that. And you're like, how does that work for them? Because that would never fly with me. If I said that to that boss, I would get reprimanded. They would reprimand me. Be sure to write those things down, boys and girls, those things that you see like that, because that will come back. Because all those things that you're noticing, other people have noticed them too. Maybe have even written it down. Maybe have even told somebody and complained about it. And it just adds fuel to the fire. If somebody needs to get taken down later, document, document, document. Always document at work. Okay, some of these cohorts have also betrayed you in the past, or other people. You've seen them betray other people in the past. So you're already kind of being cautious with them. How much are they watching group for, these cohorts? If they see something, or if that boss wants to know something, they will ask them. And if they have that information, they will tell them. So I don't know how strategic you are. Sometimes feeding false information can be an advantage. Not like any rando false information, but something that might work to your advantage. Okay. Get creative. If you're not good at that sort of thing, don't take my advice there. If an idea didn't automatically just pop in your head of like, yes, I should be doing that more, or I should be doing that at all, then don't do it because you're not ready. The Hierophant. Yeah, see how like It's like the kid's like pleasing teacher. Yeah, they talk to that boss. They'll report on you. So I think you're already pretty careful around them and you just wanted confirmation. But yeah, there it is. They're shifty. They'll do their thing to get what they want. Even the one that tells the truth, they'll tell the truth on you that doesn't need to be told if they feel like it's something that'll benefit them in some way. So strategize however you need to there. What's the extent of the damage they could do, Spirit? Yeah, not much. Page of Swords isn't going to do much. It's the talking. They just talk. They talk. They try to say, like, look at them doing that over there. Not as cool as me over here. You know, that kind of stupid kissing up. Yeah, I feel like you're above it. You're protected. You know, as long as you just don't get sucked into it, you'll be okay. You know, just don't get sucked into the drama. Don't let it affect your mood. Something to do if you are already if you're like, too late. I'm already to that point. You can do the bottle spell. If you haven't heard of the bottle spell, I do explain it in group 3. I don't want to explain it over and over, and I've probably explained it in readings before. You can always say, tell me the bottle spell in the comments, and I will gladly copy and paste a description of what the bottle spell is. You can bottle spell people. It kind of just makes them forget about you and focus on other things, other people, other situations. It doesn't harm them in any way. It's just a very effective spell. And it's very easy to find on Google. If you look up bottle freezer spell, you'll find it. But anyway, if you just need that reassurance, that extra energetic reassurance, but I really don't see them causing a lot of damage. I think you are hip to who they are and what they're about, and you are just looking for confirmation, okay? So, Spirit, what else about this situation with this boss and cohorts? Yeah, collect that evidence, my friends. Ace of Wands. Something could come out at any minute. Because they are so unprofessional, there always could be something where somebody more professional takes notice or steps in. There are higher ups that would not be pleased with this type of situation. In some cases, others don't really pay attention. And as long as everything's running the way they need it to, they really don't care if people are like emotionally happy, which does suck. That's how it is at a lot of places of work, isn't it? Some of you might live in Nebraska. King of Pentacles, your guides want me to remind you that regardless of the troubles or issues that you deal with at work, that you overall will do well in your career, that you will make enough money, that nothing bad is going to happen to you. You're not going to end up out in the street. You're going to have enough. You're going to get what you wish for. So if you're thinking about looking for another job, please look, because like you have wish fulfillment in your career energy here. And that's something that's very, very rare and special and good and wonderful and available to you. So you don't have to quit and go look for another job or start your own business. Just start researching what you would like to do, and you'd be surprised at what you might find, and you might be able to flip it or go to a different place and get really good emotional fulfillment from your career rather than this like work drama. I hate it. Don't you hate it? Wouldn't life be so much more fun if people would just stop being meanies? If people would just be nice. King of Wands and the Empress. Yeah, there's that success again. Just keep your eye on the prize. You know, do your job, which you will, right? And you're going to be all right. So Spirit, can we generate some types of careers that this is? Some of you might work somewhere like, okay, I'm hearing like fashion industry, but I'm hearing like decor. Like maybe you guys are in charge of not designing the clothes or directing the models, but like designing the sets, designing the runways, designing some kind of set design. Yeah, some type of like behind the scenes of performative work. A facet of it that the general public doesn't normally see, but it's like a very important part. And you're a very important person when it comes to it. And your boss should be too, but they're just not doing a very good job, which does suck. There's been issues already with some people's boss already being noticed for doing stuff wrong. I don't think anything will happen to their cohorts, but, you know, they'll just start doing the same thing to the next boss that comes along. Some of you might work somewhere where, like, I'm thinking of like Vegas, where they have those like big like planetarium type shows. Like the Dome probably has like some space things, yeah, where they're like looking up at the stars. It might also be like actual stargazing of some kind, guiding. Interesting. What else? There's that animal thing. Some of you might actually work with animals, training them. The animals might be the performers. The zoo. We kept getting stuff about the zoo. Yeah, look at that. Some people might perform with the animals. Wow, interesting work. I would love to know what y'all do in the comment section. Even if I didn't hit on your career just yet, I would like to know what you do. So we have that kind of aspect of it. I'm also seeing office aspect, but the office might deal with the paperwork of this type of work. Or it doesn't have to, but it might. Okay, what else? Yeah, your guides are reassuring again that you're going to be recognized for your good work in your career overall. That the people that upset you are really not going to do damage. They're not capable of doing like permanent damage to you. They're just annoying. And they do kind of do damage to the workplace, and that I do understand. Trust your intuition. You can trust it at this time. Okay. Other things about these people, just Easter eggs, spirit, anything, places they live, names. We're going to get letter tiles soon enough, but, you know, places they live, details about how people look, anything. Some of you may live someplace cold, but you work in a place where, like, you have to keep flowers alive or whatever. So, like, you might live in a really cold climate, but you work, I don't know, at a tulip farm. I said that earlier in another reading. Something about a tulip farm. I've got tulip farms on the brain. They just keep popping up everywhere. It's weird. Or, like, something else where you have to keep, like, you know, you have to do, like, very, like, vivid displays of, like, gardening, or, you know, you do... What do they call that? Landscape architecture. Yeah, some of you really have to put on a show where you work, like, or you're a part of something like that. Some people live in sunshine areas. Some people live by a golf course. Some people live somewhere where they have a very big firework displays for certain things, or maybe you've been in charge of having to do those types of like pyro displays, or there's an aspect of that within the company that you work. 5 of Wands. Some of you... hang on. Oh my goodness. I'm not an astrologist, so I have no idea what part of retrograde Mercury is in right now, but... It has been kind of interesting these last few days, the weird energy out there whenever I interact with other people. So I'm sure you know the feeling. All right. What else do we want to talk about here? I was feeling like something about your boss sort of like, yeah, this definite like show of micromanagement here, I think was the last thought that I was on before we got that call. So I might have to go back and check. Okay, we're good. I thought maybe I was saying something else about that card, but nope, we were good. All right. Other things. Spirit, just anything you want to tell us. Anything that tells them they're in the right group. I said this like newspaper. Some of you might be like writers, or you might write content of some kind. You might edit content. You might edit books. I don't know. The place where you work might be kind of a gossipy place. Anytime I see that T. Some of you might be Asian. Some of you might be Caucasian. Some of you What else did I see? Oh yeah, I saw that. Never mind. I think I'm mixing up my piles here. Some of you might repair things. Interesting. Okay. What else? Some of the cohorts of the boss, like one acts like a fool and one acts like a magician. That's just something that's coming through that might be like confirmation for you. Like one's like, dear, I don't know. And the other one's like, I know exactly what's going on. You should listen to me. Some of you might be thinking about leaving this job. I just got the 8 of Cups. Some of you might be actively looking for another job. Your guide is saying just take it slow, do your research. That's okay to do if you wish. Sorry, be right back. Oof, I just went on an adventure. I lost my earbuds, but I found them again. It was fun. Okay, we were looking at the cohorts, were we not? What else were we looking at? I think we were looking about you thinking about leaving. Yeah, you thinking about leaving and looking for another job that's away from things like that. Your guys are saying you all blah blah blah. You oh my gosh, absolutely. Can do that. I could not get absolutely out of my mouth. You absolutely can do that. They say just take it slow, look for things that are ideal. Don't rush. For all we know, this situation with the boss and these people could fix itself, especially if you and a bunch of other people are documenting and then they get caught for not being cool. And wouldn't that be funny? Ha 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 ha. Okay. So, yes. All right. Other types of jobs, this might be spirit, or should we move on to letter tiles? Let's just take one more quick peek. One of the cohorts might be kind of like they might have dreads or they might have braids. And they like dress like kind of like a beach hippie bohemian type. I don't feel like they're talking too much, some of them, and that's a good thing. What else, Spirit? Some of the cohorts are joined at the hip and some are not. Anything else? Some of you live in a place where the climate is very middle of the road, like the temperature stays the same all the time, as opposed to stormy or cloudy or crazy or snowy or whatever. It's not like where I live where it's like snowy and cold like 9 months out of the year and then everything bursts into flames. It gets to be like over 100 degrees and everything catches on fire. Who wouldn't want that? Yeah, okay. Let's get some letter tiles. Sometimes places will pop out of these, but mostly it's names. If you see a name and there's only one letter missing from a first, middle, or last name of somebody you know or of yourself, it still counts. If you want to duplicate letters, you can, because I remove all the duplicated letters. If you see something about fog, it might be foggy where somebody is today. If you see anything that you recognize, like a pet's name, a family member's name, this is a wild one. Sometimes I want to put letters on those. And I'm just going to remove any duplicates and lay them out here. We have K-I-F-O-G-J, Wild. Somebody's last name might be Wild or Wilder. Somebody might have a wild side. Or somebody you know does. Somebody might get called Wild Thing. Ooh, group 4. Getting all wild on me. Lots of N's. Nina, Nancy. Lots of K's. Kendra. Wilma. Will. There's like a name with like a W and an O in it. Like, for example, Winston is a name I can think of. Not that that's the name I was thinking of, but that's an example of a name that has a W and an O in it. Just so you know that they do exist. Let me get some more. Jasper, Jennifer. Something about jab. Not sure what jab means. Maybe somebody made a jab of you. You need a jab at you at work, or people jab at each other at work. Or your boss like makes jabs at you and not anyone else. WNSJ Wild CBMVATDLQ. And last but not least, E. I see J. Oh, something like a J and a V in it. But it's like a name I'm not familiar with. Betty. Brooke. Bob. Luke. Tyler. All right, why not, Winston? There you go. Boston is coming through. Some other places that start with B, but I'm not sure. So if you're living in a place that starts with B, take that as confirmation you're in the right place. I'm also hearing like Maryland and other places that start with M. If you live in a place that starts with an M, you can take that as confirmation. Some of you work at a DMV. That must be interesting work on the other side of that curtain. It's always funny when you find people that have those jobs and the ones where like the whole public has to go to those. Sorry if you heard me blow my nose, I apologize. I'm trying not to sneeze. Where the whole public goes, like school, but like the vast majority of the public doesn't end up finding out what the people who work there do, you know, what their lives are like, who are they, you know, why are, you know, what's it like on their side of the glass. Some of you might work for a BLM, like a Bureau Land Management, or some of you might be involved with like activism for BLM, 2 different BLMs. I'm hearing small. Some of you might be small in stature, like you might be petite. Here I'm seeing Java. Some of you might work at a coffee place, or you might love coffee. Gail, Sandra, Sam, Sanjeep. Am I saying that right? Deshawn, Kissinger, could be a last name for somebody. Somebody might like the band Kiss, or the word kiss is relevant to some of you. Might have like a kiss tattoo, or like a, you know, like a somebody kissed you and you tattooed their lips on you. Some of you could be in love right now. I'm seeing gators. Somebody could be from Florida or from somewhere else where you have alligators. Some of you could play football because the Florida has that. The Gators are their like football team, right? Some of you take CBD oil to go to sleep, or some of you have sleeping problems. WSN or WSNJ or whatever, that sort of like looks like a radio station. Some of you might be in radio, or that's like a station you listen to, or something with those initials might mean something to you. I know that when I was a teacher, we had PBIS, I had to do a lot of PBIS stuff, and everybody else out in the world had no idea what that was, right? But I sure, if I saw PBIS anywhere in letter tiles, I'd be like, ugh, you know, I'd vomit or whatever, because it'd trigger me that hard. Some of you have kids. Some of you, did I say Vivian? Vey. Somebody might have Vey in their name, or their name is Vey, and I just am not familiar with that name. John. Jean. Could be Jeffrey with a G or a J. Did I say Brenda? Because I'm feeling a Brenda here. I'm also seeing a Levi. I get Levi quite a bit. Somebody might have a cat. Somebody might have a dog. See? Cat and a dog. Somebody might have a frog. Frog. Okay, I'm running out of steam. If this is helpful, tell me how in the comment section. Give me topic ideas there as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to do so in the description box. Thanks for being here, guys. Fun, strange little topic. I hope it all turns out all right. Let me know in the comments how it goes, and we'll see you next time. Bye.